Doesn't that kind of look like a claw? Like a claw? So maybe this is a message for some of our claw-bearing people. Speaking of, what we have before us today is a beautiful picker reading. We've got 4 different decks going on in there, but there are 3 separate readings. And I wanted to clear the air for all of us because there's just a lot to clear, right? There's so much happening everywhere that it's hard to really not feel it, right? Especially for our light workers, our empaths, we feel it much deeper than other people, right? And it's not always easy. It can be a challenge. It can be debilitating. Many things can happen. So right now I'm going to kind of come up a little bit here and give you guys a little bit more of a view. So we are using, in reading 1, we have the Enchanted Spell Oracle. Reading 2, we have Whispers of the Ocean Oracle cards. And reading 3, we have the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle. But we're also using the Practical Spell deck, which you can see is in front of the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous deck. But that deck also appears in one of the other readings, but I'm not going to say who or where, because if they wanted it to be in front, they would have. So just keep your energy focused on whichever imagery, numbers, anything that's coming to you. Even though that says 50, it could be a 5. It could be, 5s are about challenge, midway through something. It could be about change and transformation. There's a lot of things. I know of the cards, but I have no idea what, you know what I'm saying? Like a few of them I saw because I pulled cards for this reading last week. And then today I was called to pull more. So I haven't seen all of them, and I have no idea some of the readings. I'm like, this could be really interesting for all of us. But there's, whatever it is, here we've got a little bee, and it says variety is the spice of life. And then on the turtle there, it says celebrating 50 years of cozy. They're mucklucks. They're these really cozy socks I like to get. They're the only thing that I get that is not, I have to have natural fibers on my skin. So I use them more like a slipper. So yeah, I really like my little mucklucks, especially living off the grid. You need layers for your feet and for your body. So anyway, there's that. And then the last one, we have a bee. We have a bee, and I am not supposed to tell you what's underneath there. You may know if you know the deck, but I'm supposed to just leave that there. So, but it's everyday spells is what's above the bee. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. And we are working with the full moon and Gemini energy. So when you are thinking, you already know, maybe you've already gone, you know what I mean? Like you're out of here, you already went to the description box or the timestamps, for the timestamps there, or you went into the comments, I put them in both, and you already know. So go ahead. For others of you, if you're wondering, you're still not sure, it could be more than one. Maybe one deck is speaking to, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe all 4 of them. It's all different things that are happening. Hold on one second. Interesting. I just noticed that there were 12 circles here, and I feel like that's for somebody. Maybe you've been seeing the number 12 or the number 21, which is its mirror. I've been seeing that a lot. I had that come up in a session last week, and it was on the 21st, and a lot of things before it were coming up. So, it could be the numerology of that. It could be the number 5. Maybe you're seeing the number 50 everywhere. Maybe you are 50. Maybe you're seeing bees, you know what I mean? Like there's always a reason why something is calling to you. Maybe there's something behind the bee card that you're like, you have to know, you have to see it. Maybe black and red's your favorite color, whatever. Maybe turtle's your spirit animal. There are going to be a lot of spirit animals throughout these readings. So this is about release. This is about what we need to let go of, when I looked down, it was 455. So I feel like that's an angel number for all of us. But also, if you were like, which one should I pick? Which one should I pick? If you add 455 together, it's actually 14. And if you add 1 and 4, it's 5. So maybe that is what was for you, because you're new to this, or maybe you've been doing this a long time and you're in a place where you're like, Lula, I can't focus, I can't, blah, blah, blah. And there's your little wink, wink from spirit. That's your reading. Okay. But it's not just about what we need to let go of and what we need to release at this time. It's also about what needs celebrating. What do we need more of in our lives? What is this illumination of this moon and its peak in this light? What is it trying to shine the light on for you? What do you what do you need to see? Okay, so without further ado, we are going to jump into reading 1. And for all of you who've been here, and I looked down, it was 555 and it went into 556. So that's interesting. Also, because like 5 is like, and then it's like semicolon 56, and 5 and 6 is 11. So maybe that. They're always giving me little Easter eggs. They're always dropping these, as my little birthday sister says. Well, she's not little. I'm actually much more little than she is, Miss Taylor. Anyway, happy birthday, Sagittarius. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but in real time today, it is November 27th, 2023. But they're always timeless. Whenever you see this is when you are meant to watch it. And I feel like some of you are really like dragging your feet, like you don't want me to move forward. But you know what? We got to move forward. We must move forward. Even when it is the hardest moments, and I am telling you, I have been going through them. I have been challenged beyond anything I thought I could possibly handle. And it just reminds me what a warrior I am, and that I'm here to do God's work, the Lord's work, Spirit's work, whatever terminology feels good to you. I just know that I am here as an angel, an earth angel, to provide anything that I learn. I'm here to offer you, and you can take what you need, leave behind what you don't, as they say. And in these readings, it's the same thing. Don't take it as, this biblical thing, right? Many people watch these readings. So it's not just for one person. You may have one message in one reading, and then you watch another reading and the whole thing's about you. Then you watch another reading and you're like, nah, this is not right now, like where I'm at, right? But maybe another time this reading comes into your orbit and you're like, drawn to that one again, and you watch it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so perfect. But then you realize at that time, maybe the year before, it would have never made any sense, or you would have been trying to make it applicable to something that wasn't actually happening yet. So with all of the fakery and the fuckery about right now, it is so important for all of us to go within and to spread as much love and happiness and sunshine back into the earth as possible, because just how the fear feeds the darkness, our joy feeds the light, our peace, our love for ourselves and each other feeds the light. So now more than ever, we must release fear, we must release control, we must release the things that are holding us back from our true selves, from our true light. I saw something recently today. I think her handle is Lady of the Forest, but she's amazing. Her name is Cindy, and she came into my orbit in the last few weeks, and I've been watching these angel transmissions, and they're really hitting spot on for me. And if they're drawn to have me post any, I will put it in the comments or the description box, or both. Always check out all that information. But what I'm getting from Spirit and from the earth and from the animals is that we are okay. We are good. We are more in the light than we are in the shadow. So, have you ever heard the term attention goes where energy flows, or energy flows where attention goes? So if you're putting your attention on love, on your heart chakra, on healing yourself and sending loving, healing energy into the universe, we all have free will, right? And saying whatever's in the greatest and highest good of all, right? That kind of energy, when we're putting that back into the universe, it shows you which wolf you're feeding. Because you're feeding the darkness, then you're going to get the snarly, scary wolf, right? Like, no one wants to deal with that energy. And that's what's happening right now. People are fighting for things that aren't even real for land, for things. It's just this very old outdated thinking that's been outdated for a long time, that the darkness has done everything in its power to cling onto to keep going, and they know it's not going to happen. We all know it's not going to happen. There, what has happened on this earth is as far as it's going to go. There will never be another world war. That will not happen. There is a light coming into the planet right now and feeding every single solitary soul. Earth is a training place, it's a school, it's a learning environment, but it's beautiful and it's here for people to do as they please. The whole point of being on this planet is free will. A lot of the biblical teachings will tell you it's about free will. They got that right. But it's not about control. It's not about having people feel guilt and shame and pain and suffering. That is an old, outdated thinking. This green fluorite wanted to come in here today. So work with green fluorite, okay? Research green fluorite. If you have one, use it, work with it, make sure it's cleansed and all that good stuff. If you don't, it's okay. You can still channel the energy and work with the energy. Ask the green fluorite to work with you. Just research it, go into whatever search engine you use and put in green fluorite, Fluorite, I believe. Green, Green, and research it. There are different types of fluorite, and they do, like rainbow fluorite is a little different. They hold the same properties, but green has a specific message for you today. So you are loved. We are loved. We are held. We are held. We are held. We are held. And they want us to flow our energy to what makes us happy. Doing what makes you happy is what they want for us. That's what uplifts the energy on the planet. If we're sitting in grief and despair about what's happening on the planet, instead of saying, I send you loving peace, this country, that country, these people, those people, I send you loving peace. I'm holding you with love and light in my heart. That is the energy. When you're not working, when you're not watching something, when you're not, you send that love and light back into the universe, back into, we are literally one. We really, really are. It's silly to break us apart. That is, divide and conquer is a real thing, because if you divide people from other people and you start rumors and you start, we've watched it in the Game of Thrones. We've watched it over so many stories, over so many lifetimes. We've watched the same scenario play out, and we're all starting to wake up and realize that this is not what it's supposed to be. This is a loving, beautiful, supportive, wonderful place of growth and expansion. It is not of greed. It is not of control. And those who have been using the greed and control to do those things, those who have been doing that are the ones that say, look the other way. Fake news, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. Well, now so many things have been made fake that it's hard for, if someone doesn't know what's going on right now, if they're not tuned into, you obviously do, you wouldn't be here otherwise. But for those in our beautiful clan, in our tribe, our people, our blood and our bone, you know, they feel something, they just don't know what it is. So they'll listen to whatever they're aligning with. And if you keep feeding your brain hate, if you keep feeding your soul criminal behavior, if you hide in your shame and your sorrow and your neglect of self, if you do this, that is when you feed the darkness. And that's what they want us to do so they can stay in power. Like I've said recently, it's no accident that the Hunger Games is back around again. And that's my cat giving me a cue to wrap it up for this message from Spirit for all of you. I will see you in reading one. All of my information is in the comment section and the description box. I love you so much. I'll see you over at your reading. Blessed be. Oh. Welcome, reading one. I just want to make sure. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. I'm like, did I not mute the microphone? Hello, how are you guys? Welcome. Oh my gosh, I was very excited. Your reading kind of came together in a very interesting way. If you've been sitting here the whole time, you probably watched me throw things in here and there. When I looked down, it was 25. So that could be a number for you, or it's also the number seven. So if the number seven means anything to you. Okay, so this is about what to release and what we want to celebrate. So, with that being said, I'm going to put on my little trusty dusty glasses and I'm going to go to the first card. This is from the Enchanted Spell Oracle deck. And we have Beauty. Oh, isn't she pretty? I don't know if they want me to put it here or not. I guess they do. I had a feeling they were going to have me do things a certain way. So, Beauty. Ooh, and look at the moon phases, because in real time, today's the full moon in Gemini. The last picker reading I did was on the new moon in Scorpio. So it's very interesting. I don't know if they're gradually having me go back into doing moon readings or if it just happens to be that these are the energies, you know what I mean? There's so many things going on right now, so I'm not exactly sure how they're going to have me like kind of play that back in. So stay tuned. Also like, subscribe, comment. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for the donations. I am in gratitude for all that you guys do for me, from monetary to prayers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And those of you who would like a one-on-one session with me or a recorded reading, you can email me. My email address is in the comment section and it's also in the description box. All of my information is in there for you to look at. It's also on my main page. You can see there's links and things above there. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm going to dive into the beauty card. Interestingly enough, when I went to open the book, the intellect card came out. So I don't know what your second card is, but that's interesting. So because it opened up so perfectly and beautifully, I'm going to read to you the keywords. So I feel like these are the keywords for you for the full moon in Gemini: intellect, logic, rationale, and solutions. Very interestingly enough, I made a little shorts today. I don't know when they're going to have me put it out, but there was the last part was so weird. It was like barely even a message. All I saw was a word, solutions. So that's interesting. So maybe that's for you guys, and maybe we'll see what happens. Just keep checking out the shorts section. But it's one of those that Spirit has me do a compilation short where it's like screenshots of different things and they mean different things to different people. Sometimes it's the name of the song, the album, the imagery, the numbers. Sometimes it's just a picture. The last one I did, it was like clouds, but I was like, wow, I saw a dragon like really clear, like in the clouds, so maybe you're waking up. Before I even open the book, the thing I love about this right here is, see how she's got like the half moon on her third eye. I'm feeling like for you guys, like Spirit wants you to really use your intuition right now, using your third eye, getting quiet. The message that we got from Spirit before your reading was about raising the vibration on the planet and how vital it is right now for everybody to raise the vibration on the planet. There are so many of us going through so many different things all at the same time. And while we're each individually going through these things, we've got everything everywhere you look trying to get us to look somewhere else, or trying to get us to look at something we need, right? So we've got like our spirit guides and our angels on one side that are sending us like signs and numbers, and you know what I mean? And then on like the dark side of it, it's like we've got your father doesn't love you, you suck, no one likes you, you know what I mean? And you're just like, and it can really be debilitating. So getting grounded, getting centered, meditating in the morning, meditating at night. The best times to meditate are as you are falling asleep and as you are waking up, because that's when you're connecting with the other realms, the other states, the other dimensions, however you want to. It's so different for everybody how you perceive it, and I wouldn't tell anyone how to see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's how you see it. We each have an individual experience here to accomplish. If we are here, I saw something recently of the Lady of the Forest, new came into my life, spoke about her earlier, again, look in the comments description section if they have me post anything from her. If not, it's for you to find her on your own, because sometimes I'm just there to leave the little breadcrumbs for you to like follow the path there, and along the path you're going to find this person or see that imagery, or right now everybody is seeing something. So spirit is like, what are you seeing? Right? Also, look at the triple spiral. I want you to research the triple spiral, okay? That's really powerful, because the fabric that I'm using today, look, it's got a spiral on it right there. So the life spiral is very powerful. The flames of fire and intention are very powerful right now. So spirit is saying, wherever your energy goes, that's where the energy flows. So if you want to have a very happy, joyful life, then you have to bring those things into your elements, into your orbit. What's that old saying? You have to make it happen. I don't remember if I made it up or someone gave it to me, so I'm really not trying to take credit. I don't remember. I feel like I made it up, but it could have been one of those things I've been using for so long. But the saying is, sometimes someday is just too far away. You have to make it happen. Right? Oh, I'm going to get to that someday. I'm going to do that someday. Someday I'm going to blah, blah, blah. But they're like, but what about right now? What makes you happy right now? Because the more you raise your vibration and joy and energy, the better and easier the planet will adjust to the new energy that's here, which really is just an old vibrational energy that was here a long time ago, but was pulled back as the darkness grew, the light moved away, to give the darkness room to grow and expand. The darkness has a purpose too. Our shadow has a purpose, right? If your life was constantly just everything is good, every single solitary thing is good, nothing ever upsets you, you're joyful every day, you have everything you need, everything you want, right? Whatever that applies to you, right? If you can have those things like every single day, right? How would you ever really appreciate how beautiful and magnificent and special they are if you didn't go without something? Because even people who, have everything, right? You think they have everything. Let's just look at Paris Hilton for a second, because she just came into my orbit. Beautiful goddess, right? So Paris Hilton everybody was like, oh, I want to be like Paris. I want to be like Paris. Oh my gosh, she's so lucky. She's so rich. She comes from this money and this, these hotel heirs and blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, she actually endured one of the most horrific things any human can go through. And if you don't know her story, please watch her movie. It's really good. Her movie, by the way, because, people put out their own shit. Same they did with like Britney and others. No, this is one that Paris actually put together with people. So it's her voice. It's her story. And she realized how dark and evil the world could really be. And that changed her forever. And it always changes us. Any type of loss changes us. So Spirit is saying, I don't even know if they want me to go to the book right now, because I feel like they're saying, stay in your beauty. Beautiful star fairies. I heard star fairies. So when I was getting this ready, I was feeling fairy energy for sure. So if you have never aligned with the Fae, it's time that you do. And just because the Fae is aligning with you doesn't necessarily mean you are of the Fae. Because some of us have been working so closely with these energies and entities for so many lifetimes, planets, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, there's so much. It's beyond anything else that we can understand at this time. Because if you can create it, if you can imagine it, then it is. And that's what I was going to say. Thank you. Lady of the Forest, come back around. Angels. That's what she said. The message from the angels was that if you are here on earth, you are a creator. And that's what you're here to do. And if you're hearing this message, you are a creator. And that's what you're here to do, is to create beauty, to create joy, harmony. to show people to go through the flow of nature, right? Through the moon cycles, through nature, the trees, the flower. Now they want me to read it. So, good fortune. I just opened up to good fortune. So this is what's on the horizon for you. If you continue to live in your truth, it's good fortune. And your keywords are luck, synchronicity, and surprises. Spirit's like, let me surprise you. Let me entertain you. I just saw enchantment and then clarity. Okay. So those are your words too. Enchantment and clarity, right? And what did I just say about the third eye, the clarity, connecting with yourself? You know, sometimes I wake up crabby or I'll come out of a dream and I'm like, what the fuck was that? You know, or I'm like, or where was I? And I might be a little crabby. And I've noticed lately that when I get up and I meditate right away and I connect with spirit, even if I have a good cry, which is a great cleansing, I go through this really great moment of joy. And I just feel this peace within my mind and my body and my soul. And I know I'm okay. I know I'm okay. I know that spirit has my back. And that's a really powerful feeling. And I've been trained, just like most of you, to be fearful of people, especially people in our lives who are controlling something in our lives that we want or we desire. So we give in to them, right? Because we want that thing. And the freedom, the sheer beauty of freedom is connection to Gaia, it's connection to Earth, to that inner clarity, that enchantment, that luck, that good fortune. It lies within you. You know, did you ever hear the old saying, if you lay down with dogs, you get fleas? It's the truth. But that doesn't mean that that dog can't change or take a nice bath and the fleas go away, you know? Thank you, fleas, for your, you know, fleas, look up fleas, right? You don't want to think about these things, but fleas have a purpose too. Look up flea spirit medicine. Sometimes our attention has to go to something ugly and gross, away from our desires, so that we can get inside there and work through it. This full moon energy is illuminating that for you. Do you see how the light is shining on her? Besides that candlelight, I don't have anything in here but natural light. Spirit set this up for you. They want you to see that you are illuminated. All you need to do is step forward, step away from those people, those situations, whatever that is, whatever is not in your greatest and highest good. Also, they're having me look at the card because there's something on the bottom of the card. Okay, so it looks like it says Fraser. So I don't know if this means anything to you guys. Fraser, which is the artist, I'm sure. C, the letter, it looks like the letter C, and 2007. So it could be something that happened to you in 2007. You know, maybe it's something you still haven't gotten over. Maybe you were, you know, born in 2007. I don't know if we have viewers that young, but you know what I mean? Like it means something. Maybe that's where your beauty, you know, maybe you lost yourself. I hear this sometimes when people come to me for sessions, you know, and they'll say, you know, I've just lost myself, man. And I'm like, I totally understand what that means. Because when you're changing into what you're really just reverting into what you originally are, what your soul came here to be. But you were given free will to have these human experiences. You laid down all this groundwork for yourself before you came here. And you know, especially for the light workers, we have a purpose. You have a purpose. You came here for a reason. It's not an accident. So your other key guiding words are inner beauty, glamour, and pride. And there's a way to be prideful with love, and there's a way to be prideful with ego. And spirit wants you to really look at that, okay? So the flower represented is the lotus flower. And it says the lotus flower has long been associated with the crown chakra and our connection to the divine. Its perfume is deep, rich, and floral with a slight herbaceous tang. Lotus oil is considered one of the most beautiful oils to heal the skin and add radiance. On a metaphysical level, the lotus represents enlightenment from seeing the inner beauty of all things, rather than just their physical being. Interesting. And if some of you were drawn to reading too, I feel like I wouldn't normally say this, but it's on page 14. And remember we said, you know, 1 and 4 is 5. So I really felt that. Now, if it's not for you, don't make it your story, okay? But if you feel, if there was something about it, there might even just be one little pebble of a little morsel, but a lot of the readings too, unless it's like really specific to a certain thing, we're always going to learn something, right? We're still going to take something new from it. But I'm just hearing to be really mindful of that when you're watching that, okay? So, on a metaphysical level, the lotus represents enlightenment from seeing the inner beauty of all things rather than just their physical being. So, that I said that again because that really is for somebody. Also, my eyes keep going to the harp. So, if you've been thinking about taking up the harp, yes, 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 yes. Also, I saw at the time it was 4002. So I feel like 4 is about balance and 2 is about the next step. So see how calm she is. I feel like some of you really are balanced. You actually got your shit together. You're like, not that the rest of you don't. You know what I mean? Right? It's like I know that's when you really know you're not driving from your ego, right? Because if you're like, yeah, I don't got my shit together right now, you know what I mean? I mean, at this point, I don't know if anybody really has their full shit together, but in terms of what they're saying is that like, sometimes we're really on the right path and things are good, but we're having like little bits, like I just said, maybe just in that little bit you needed to hear that, like that we got you, like you are strong, like thank you, thank you, thank you for holding space for us, right? Because right now maybe some of us in this reading, are not feeling as strong or not feeling as balanced right now. So seek balance. The symbolism of the card is the priestess of beauty plays her harp in a moment of quiet contemplation. Above her, a sacred lotus flower floats, surrounded by the 10 phases of the moon. The word Gaelic appears, which means moon in Scottish Gaelic. Blah, blah, blah. The word Gaelic appears, which means moon in Scottish Gaelic. The priestess understands that true beauty lies in people's souls and not their physical appearances. So there's something going on with this with you guys. I feel like some of you, maybe you're disconnecting from like an old world and an old life. And maybe in this new life, you're not really feeling it yet. They're saying, that's okay. You know what? Nothing good comes out of being comfortable. Think about it. If we're too comfortable for too long, that means that we're not growing. I mean, not for everybody, but in this situation right now, they're saying like, right, where what we said earlier, where attention flows, energy goes. Or where attention goes, energy flows, whichever way you look at it. So it could just be for some of you guys, the grounded aspect is what they're trying to get you to look at, to get grounded, to stay grounded. And also protection, because I felt like the labradorite kind of snuck in there at the end. The labradorite and the selenite kind of snuck in there at the end when I was putting it together. But whatever you're going through, it's okay, and you don't have to make any excuses for who you are or where you're going. The divination is when the priestess of beauty is chosen, you may have been putting a great deal of importance on physical looks. Glamour, vanity, and superficial appearances are strongly indicated. Also, Spirit saying it's not necessarily looks. Like superficial appearances may be like you're trying to show the world that you got your shit together and you're perfect and everything, and they're like, there's no such thing. Stop trying to do that. Just be yourself and everything will flow into place. Like if you're trying too hard to be this version of beauty that you believe that you need to be, right? That's just the little demon coming in trying to talk to you. But you see, the moons are keeping them at bay and they're saying, hey, no, 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 no. See how they're like, I'm going to stay in this I'm awesome bubble. I'm awesome at every moment. Because you know what? Where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And sometimes that's really hard to hear because we think, well, if we'd done it this way, if we'd gone this way, if we'd done this, if we'd done that, blah, 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 blah. But all that does is it buys into the darkness and the bullshit and the confusion instead of just staying focused and going, hey man, whatever, this is the path I chose. This is whatever, and this is what I'm meant to do. I've been going through that myself lately. So I feel you if that's a challenge for you at this time. But I believe that's why they're having us share these experiences in these readings, in these sessions together, so that we see that we're not alone and that the struggle is very real out there. So staying grounded and connected to who you are is going to be the biggest key component for you. Stop trying to be something you're not. 4401, which is also the number 9. For some of you, I feel like Spirit's saying you're almost there. You're so close you don't even know it. You're so close. It's like right there. Do not give up. So When the priestess of beauty is chosen, we said that, okay, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look your best and taking pride in your appearance. But when you start judging yourself or others in a negative way solely based on physical appearance, the priestess of beauty acts as a gentle reminder to rethink this. Youth and good looks are fleeting, and what truly matters are the inner qualities such as kindness, compassion, joy, loyalty, truthfulness, and honor. After all, the physical body is but a fleshy temple designed to carry us through life, and when we leave this world, it is our inner qualities that will remain. So, this is, if you want to do this homework, it's awesome. I've done it before. It's a really great one to do. It's called the 10 Petals Lotus Ritual. And for those of you, this one's been coming up a lot, this card, because they really, if you've been watching these readings the last few months on this channel, and this card you've seen, obviously they're telling you to really do it this time. Like maybe this is like you've been meaning to, but you haven't. So take a screenshot of it if you need to. So a lovely way to concentrate on beauty on the inside is to draw a lotus flower with 10 petals. On each petal, write something you admire about yourself that isn't a physical feature. You will be surprised at how many gorgeous inner qualities you possess. Place your lotus illustration in a visible place and refer to it when feeling less than. You are beautiful. Also, you're not the sum of all your deeds. We all fuck up. We all do and say things. You know what I mean? Like right now, the energy, please don't judge yourself or others. Just flow as much as possible, okay? I love you so much. Spirit loves you so much. And they want you to know that you have a place here. You have a place here. This is the next message, right? Because look at, variety is the spice of life. It was a variety, get it? Because it was on a tea bag. But see the little heart in there? The variety is the spice of life. It's from Good Earth Tea, California, 1972. I feel like that might mean something to somebody. Let me see if I do it this way. Oh, do you see that? Yeah. Ooh. Good Earth, California. And I'm going to bring in my little snow person so you can see it. So they can hold it up. Oh, we're going to do it backwards. Variety is the spice of life. Okay, now we're going to bring in this card. Variety. It's almost like they didn't want you to see their face. Like you can make your own face on your snowman. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like building your own, like instead of copying off of somebody else, what would your face look like on your snowman or snow person? Okay, and now we have happiness. Oh my goodness. Look at the little mushroom there. I'm telling you, it's like the same cards keep coming out. It's really, 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 really wild. I'm going to pull these out because I feel like they want to come out now. In a weird way, I almost feel like this reading is like a two-parter. I almost feel like people are going to see this part and then I don't know if they're going to continue watching or not. Anyway, I'm rambling. Sometimes my brain just is like, blah, blah, blah. It's like I'm talking and channeling at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to dive into the happiness. Because I'm almost positive we had these two together in another reading or more than one reading. So I'm like, wow, this is pretty intense, right? So the keywords for happiness card are optimism, good cheer, and laughter. Yes, what did we say? Staying on a high vibrations, fairies. And yours is the orange blossom. Orange Blossom's happy, sweet citrus scent is regenerating and optimistic. On a metaphysical level, it can dissipate heaviness and unhealthy obsessions and help to create a heart full of light. The fragrance of orange blossom attracts the angels assigned to us on our earthly journey. Eating oranges is said to give a rush of vitality to the solar plexus chakra, the golden energy wheel at the center of your body. And on the next page, it says the symbolism of the card. The priestess of happiness is dancing in a gorgeous orange frock and stripy blue stockings. Her energy is one of whimsy and playfulness. Gold surrounds her as well as orange blossoms bursting with their delicious citrus perfume. The artwork in this card depicts an ancient key of Solomon, the magical figure of happiness, a symbol said to bring joy and good cheer. I feel like some of you want to see this card closer. Do you see that? Okay. And we can even put that there because your beauty is on the inside, right? So your happiness is showing on the outside, right? Because when we're happy on the inside, when I looked, it was 49.10. And I feel like because 49 and then it's like semicolon 10. So I feel like it's 49 is 13, which is the number of the goddess. And when you add it together, it's 4 about stability and balance. And 1 or 10 is about completion and also about new beginnings. And 0, 1 is the new beginning, and 0 is the amplifier. You guys, you're there. I'm telling you, out of all the readings, I felt such a lightness from yours, which is interesting, because I feel like one of the last times we did this, use these cards together, it was the opposite. I think it was, so maybe it's meant to come together today to show you like how far you've come. Okay, so the divination in this card suggests that happiness lies in dwelling on the good things in life and not on problems. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but rather seeing the positives in the situation instead. The old adage is true. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. Look for the light in your life when this card appears, even if it's just a tiny spark. Know that the appearance of this card brings the essence of happiness into your life. Now, the next spell is really interesting because I don't know if you heard me earlier, I was kind of stumbling. It's 5024, which is also the number 11 if you add it together. Did you hear that? I don't know did you hear that noise? I don't know if that's going to read or not, but that was wild. I feel like Spirit's trying to get our attention. But while I was reading to you guys, I remembered the spell for this and it made me realize that I wanted to give it to somebody. So this could even be a message to you. Use this orange and clove happiness spell. Maybe there's somebody in your life that, they're normally really happy, or even if they're not happy, but there's something that you're not taking their free will by bringing them something that could uplift their energy. You know what I mean? They could throw it away. It's up to them. But this might be a great gift to give somebody. So it says orange and clove happiness spell. This is wax, by the way. I was like, is that oil? Bring the uplifting energy of orange and clove into your home with this delicious spell. Stud a fresh orange. Here, let me get in here so you can get a good screenshot. Stud a fresh orange with 15 cloves, with each clove representing something that makes you happy. The scent of fresh orange and spicy cloves alone is enough to bring happiness, but the intent will help you focus on what truly makes your heart sing. Tie this happy spell with a gorgeous gold ribbon so that it looks like a gift. Display this joyful pompadour where you can see it often and feel bubbles of happiness floating into your life. Well, that's beautiful. Yeah, so I was just thinking, I'm like, I really want to do this for somebody, this person that I know that's going through a tough time. So, if that calls to you, maybe that's meant for you and maybe it's meant for somebody else, or maybe you were thinking about doing something special for somebody for the holidays, and that would be a beautiful thing to do. And I love the 15 too, because 1 and 5 is 6. So 6 is a really nice number. It's after the hardship of 5, and it's about bringing the balance and that you're over the hump, so to speak. So I'm very happy for you guys. I feel like you guys are in that as well. So there's 2 spells here that I have for you. We're going to move on. I feel like they want you to see them at the same time. So we have house spells and moon spells. Now, not everybody's into, don't have to. That last one we did is a spell. Both of these decks are obviously written, by witches, and the priestess moon that the Enchanted spell oracle deck here. Really powerful witch spells. We are spelling every moment we speak, right? We're speaking something into being. That's why they call it spelling. So we have a house spell and we have a moon spell. So let's see I was going to say whichever one falls is the one I feel like is the one we're going to look at first. So we'll go to the Saturday Sanctuary spell later. So this one is the air augury conjuration. Let me bring it here so we can read it together, and you can take a screenshot so you can do it for yourself. Now, like I said, if you're into spells, that's cool. If you're not, no worries. From one of our tribe members, she sent me the most beautiful little moon painting, but I love this little stand because we can use this as well when we need it. Okay, let's see if we can get that into focus. Can we get this into focus, Spirit? There we go. There we go. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, it says, when the new moon is in an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, light the following incense: lavender and sandalwood. Light one white candle and one blue candle and say, Winged Mercury, god of air, I entreat you to bring me sight and true awareness like the wind, speed my way, make everything new. This spell should give you sharpness and great clarity of mind. Listen to your intuition now. It will not fail you. Write down your insights in your book of shadows. See page 15. Interesting. So I will go into that book and I will post something in the community section, page 15. But how crazy is that? 15 again. What? Right? Now listen. The full moon in Gemini, Gemini's an air sign. So I know they said on a new moon, but you can still do it now, right? You could do it on a new moon on Aquarius, new moon in Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, but you can also do it on the full moon, right? So it's about releasing and letting go. And you can even change the words around. You don't have to use, this is just a suggestion spell. You can create your own spell, right? Like, and it says this spell should give you sharpness and great clarity of mind. Listen to your intuition now. It will not fail you. Write down your insights in your book of shadows. And if you don't have a book of shadows, you can research it. You know, again, it's not for everybody, whatever feels good to you. It could be just a notebook that you have that you keep in your, all of your wonderful things that you write or collect or whatever. The lavender is calming, and sandalwood, I don't remember what sandalwood is, but you can research those things on your own. And, it doesn't matter what shade of blue, it's just about the intention. It's always about the intention behind things. If spirit knows your intention and feels your intention, that's all that matters. And like I said, I'll take a screenshot of this page 15 and I'll put it in the community section for everybody. Okay, so that is our moon spell. And now we're going to go into the house spell. Oh, you know what's so funny? I thought that was a bee on there. I just noticed that it was a flower. By the way, if you hear crackling, that's my cat. She's in here. That's Bubba. Okay, this is our Saturday sanctuary spell. To anoint your home as a sacred space and protect you from harm, rub any one of the following essential oils undiluted on your front door at the top and bottom: cinnamon, clove, cypress, dragon's blood, or frankincense. Walk through the door and close it securely. Take the remaining essential oil and anoint every other door and window. At the witching hour of midnight, light anointed white candles and place them in every doorway and windowsill. You have now secured your home with the power of magic. Again, however this looks for you, always use fire safely. Spells are so personal. Never ever use a spell against anyone else. Make sure that if you're doing a home spell, that everyone in the home is on board with this spell, because we don't want to take away anybody's free will. So, yeah, interesting. This is very close to the love nest spell. Very, very interesting. And just one of these is good. If you have all of them and you want to put them together, that's some powerful mojo, right? But there's other ways you can do things like that too. So really, it's just it's just about anointing your home as a sacred space and protect you from harm. And you can do that also with smudging. You can do that with, speaking it into being. But there is something very powerful about energy. And if these cinnamon, clove, cypress, if they didn't smell different, feel different, and you know what I mean, there wouldn't be a reason for it. So they definitely have a purpose. But and if you want to do it at the witching hour of midnight, that's really powerful. I definitely feel in my personal experience, any time around, right, usually around 11:30. I used to see the 11:30 at night. I would see like 11:34. I would see it all the time, but because I have military time on my phone, I'd see 23:34. You know what I mean? And I would see that like all the time, 23:34, 23:34. And usually from that time till about 3 in the morning is when I, started to feel really good. And anything past 3 always started to feel really dark. Like you can feel where it's getting colder, 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 darker, darker, darker before, at that time where it's like there's no sun, there's no moon. Like it's just like that darkness. It's really powerful. And so, working with the energies is the most important part of any spell that you do. Okay. Interesting that it says Saturday sanctuary spell. So I'm assuming that if you do it on Saturday, it'll be even more powerful. But that's something to research, right? Okay, so let me see. Do we have any more? One more message. Is there something in the book? Let me see if they want me to pull anything else out right now. Because, oh, there it is. They may want me to pull this right now, this number, or this. I don't even know if I've ever really looked at the book, and if I did, it was like when I first got it, because these spells are pretty self-explanatory. Oh, I might have last time. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay. I remember it now. Ooh, interesting. So I opened a Sagittarius. We are in Sagittarius season. So I feel like it's about Sagittarius season. And if you're a Sagittarius, these are, and if you see these others for Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, go ahead and check them out. But they want us to work with these energies from now. We're already in November 22nd to December 21st. Like I said, in real time, it's the 27th. So we've been in Sagittarius energy almost a full week now. Ooh, when I looked up, it was exactly 1 hour. Wow. So yes, and it's about new beginnings. So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is about good fortune and good luck and all those wonderful things from the happiness card. So connect yourself to the anise energy, cedarwood, honeysuckle, sassafras, and the star anise. So star anise and anise are very similar. They're basically the same, but research them. They do have a little bit of a different, if they weren't different, they wouldn't be there, right? Okay, so work with that energy. And then also, since I have the book open, I'm going to go to page 15. I don't know if that's going to come into focus. There you go. So 15. Oh, Book of Shadows. Your Book of Shadows is your record of ritual work. At its finest, it should be a history of all your rituals, energy work management, circles, spells, and all the magic you have manifested. Document everything here, and you will be building a practice that you can bring, document everything here, and you will be building a practice that you can use as a reference so you can bring the wisdom of future rituals. This should also be a book of inspiration filled with your thoughts, verse, and observations. Most importantly, it should be a record of results, a book you turn to again and again. It can be a gorgeous handcrafted volume of handmade paper and ribbon bookmarks, or a simple 3-ring binder. Just make sure it appeals to you so that you will use it often and well. And it's on pages 15 and 16, okay? So I will put that in there for you guys. Wow, look at you guys with your cool lighting in here today. I mean, it's you. It's you. I'm just reflecting your light back to you. You are so powerful. You are indeed a light worker. My throat chakra, I feel like somebody's trying to choke me. Hold on. I gotta kind of push that energy through. I'm like, no, speak your truth, speak your truth, speak your truth. Even when it's hard. I had to speak my truth recently. It was so hard, and I had the pushback that I got was not what I thought was going to happen, and I really felt like I was making progress, and it was and I'm not saying that it hasn't, because I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm still like in the process of what's going through with that, but it's just so interesting how when we are given something, when we are taken to task, when we are really taken to task about our happiness, about who we are, proving that we are the variety, we are the spice of life, when we're showing the universe who we truly are, when we step into our power, when we say, you know what, go away before a house falls on you too, right? You can't just come here and dump your shit off on me and treat me that way. I love you, but that is not correct behavior. That's not how we treat each other. So if you have people in your orbit that are taking away from your happiness or stealing your joy in any way, any vampires of any kind, love them so hard. But if it is unbearable, get them out of your orbit. You can still love them from afar. I've been sending this situation so much love because I know that it has nothing to do with me. It's just that I showed them something. When you put a mirror in front of somebody's face and they don't like what they see, this is us included. When a mirror is put in front of our face and we see something that we don't like about ourselves, that is the number one reason why you're seeing it. So it triggers something in you to change it. Otherwise, you would just let it flow off you like water off a duck's back and you wouldn't give a shit. So if you give a shit, that means that you care. And if you care, that means everything. But that doesn't mean you let them deplete you completely. That means you send them love, you send them happiness, joy, and peace. And when a dark thought comes in your head about them, push it back with love as hard as you possibly can. And say, whatever's in their greatest and highest good, I send them love today. I send them love today. Use your own languaging, but send them love. All right, you guys, those are your messages. I hope they helped you in any way. All of my information is in the description box and in the comments. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing on the planet. I love you. Spirit loves you. Until next time, please take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh. Welcome reading two. Oh, all I can tell you is I just keep singing under the sea, under the sea. That's so welcome to your Whispers of the Ocean. And this little celebrating 50 years of so that's interesting. I don't know what that means for some of you guys, but it was obviously was brought into this reading for a reason. Already I can feel the energy from your reading is so much different than reading one. I also feel like I need to move things around, so bear with me for a moment. I feel like this wants to come over here. Yeah, I feel like this wants to reflect the light. I feel like Spirit's trying to show you how to reflect your light, like how to use your light. Ooh, okay. So my left hand, the left, it feels, how like when you get itchy palms or itchy feet or whatever, and they say that those are signs or whatever. This felt different. This feels like a hole through my left hand. Whatever that means to you, I feel like either it's going to come through in the reading, or I always forget if it's left is receiving and right is giving or vice versa through your left hand. So research energy in left hand, like what does it mean when your left hand is tingling or whatever, blah blah blah. That's for you to research on your own. But it, whatever that is, I'm feeling a hole through it. So let's get to that. Let's find out what's going on. So Spirit, with these cards today, what is the first message? Which energy, which message would you like to bring forward first for reading two? And this is about the full moon in Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. We are in the fire sign of Sagittarius, but we are dealing with water energy with the whispers of the ocean. So Spirit, speak to us. Oh, they're saying something. Oh, of course. Oh my gosh, I kept hearing something's missing, something's missing, something's missing. Oh, they wanted me to bring in a shell. Oh, of course. Oh my gosh, yes, I did notice it felt like a little bear there. Also, there's another piece of a shell that kind of looks like an angel wing. So I feel like maybe that means, guys, the angel wing means something. I'm hearing a dad energy from some of you, like your dad is like giving you a little shout out and wanting you to know that they love you and that they're looking out for you. And if you like those times where you're like, I'm not crazy, I swear that's my dad. It is. It is your dad. And this may even be just for one person. And do you see that your dad, whomever this is, or for all of you, it could just be the dad energy, the divine masculine, wants to show us something that we have. See how this looks right now? It's really dry. Spirit's not even letting me bring it into focus. But look what happens when I put a little water. Look at that. See how I dropped that water on there? Oh, we'll see. I don't know if they're going to let me do it, but do you see that? They want that energy to spread all over you. Allow the energy of spirit to come in and illuminate you. This full moon in Gemini is here to illuminate you. It's literally here to show you who you are, what you were meant to do here. I feel like some of you already know, like maybe something happened last night. Did somebody have a little breakthrough? I'm feeling like somebody had some type of breakthrough last night. Okay, on this one, that's from the other one. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm like, I got really carried away for a second. I was like, what's happening? There's so many people that want to talk to you. Okay, so that father energy is really beautiful. It's the divine masculine definitely speaking to you. Okay, so your first card from the Whispers of the Ocean deck is I have the smallest hands. 49. Be insightful and established. Yes, I honestly, you guys, I was so excited to do your reading. I really was because I always feel even when this deck brings some harsh truths, I still feel like a lightness to it. So so I'm very happy for you. Also, I think it's interesting that we have 49 and 50. So I feel like this might mean something for some of you. Maybe you're about to be 50. I know recently we have a new tribe member. Hi, Jenny. And she's 49 and we were talking about that. And 49 is really powerful, is a powerful age because, you know, we go in these cycles of 7. And they say that after every 7 years, you know, we have a big change. Well, interesting, 7 times 7 is 49. And a lot of times people are like, oh, 50, you're half a century. Yes, but actually 49 is a really, really cool time. I know because I'm about to be 52 and I remember what an interesting year that was. It's also the number 13. And if you add that together, it's the number 4. And 4 is about balance and stability. And 9 is about almost there. And you know, interesting. And then 50, like 49, 50, like it could even be for some of you, like keep going. Like there's a reason why that, you know, 49 came out as the first card and 50 was the number that was out there. So it says ground and balance. What did I say for? Ground and balance your energy. Bring your awareness into the now rather than allowing it to occupy the past or future. Wow. Okay, so this is what Spirit wants you to let go of in this full moon energy. They want you to let go of trying to control the future or the past. See how the card is, look at that. The card keeps even going towards the past. I'm trying to bring you, you know, into the present. There we go. So whatever you're looking for in the past, the only thing you're going to find in the past is answers. So if you're going for answers, then I encourage you to go to the past. But if you're going to the past because you are reliving something, thinking you're going to change it, or you know what I mean? Spirit's like, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, you know, live in the now, man. So I'm going to read from the book. I don't always read from the book, but I'm being told to today. And it says, certain things can happen when you are ungrounded. You may find you make mistakes or miss important opportunities. It is imperative that you ground yourself. You can do this by making time for meditation, tuning into your physical needs, and taking a deep breath or getting out into nature. A quick way to ground is to plant both your feet firmly on the floor. Take a deep breath down to your belly and calm your mind. Feel the connection between your feet and the earth. Imagine yourself feeling very calm, centered, and grounded. A tube worm is an invertebrate that anchors itself to stable elements in the ocean. It creates a tube around its body into which it can withdraw completely. The tube worm spends most of its time perched motionless on rock or coral unless it feels threatened. If you are ungrounded, you might feel as if you are getting out of touch with reality. Grounding can help you build a strong foundation in knowledge and experience. The tube worm is reminding you of the benefit you feel when you reconnect to the earth. So get grounded. Also, I really need to highlight, recently I worked with a really powerful light worker when I said something about that's not reality. And they're like, I hate that word reality because what does that mean? And I'm like, you know what, you're right. I'm like, thank you for correcting me because I realized, I'm like, yeah, I'm like the reality of of it, the word reality, is that there isn't one. That's like the word perfect. There's no such thing as perfection, right? So reality is your reality, and the way you see the world or perceive the world is the way you look and see and perceive the world, right? It's nobody else's business on what you see or your connection to spirit, right? So be insightful and established is saying, like, once you're grounded and you're centered, it's easier to see into something. Recently I worked with a client, and I just started to feel from spirit, like 3 days before our session, I started to feel what was going to kind of happen, and I got prepared for it. I got grounded for it. I was so excited for it. Then I got to the session completely changed everything. I was like, wow, 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 wow. And though I felt grounded when I first got there, looking back on the day, I was as grounded as I could be, but there were so many unstable things because I had no idea what was, just because I'm a telepathic medium doesn't mean I go into people's, I don't go into people's minds. They're, whatever. If somebody puts stuff out there, their energy is like so prolific, like I cannot not feel, see, or hear it, then I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. But I don't go into people's every thoughts, I can just feel energy, whether it feels good, or, good or bad or silly to say, but you know what I mean? Whether it feels comfortable or it feels uncomfortable, or if it feels, I mean, even those, it's like one or the other. It's like, do I feel light or do I feel, shadow? So that's what they're trying to urge you to find your footing and who you are, right? And this could even be 5 years of cozy. It could be some of you have had 0 years of cozy. My eyes keep going back to that. But we talked about that the full moon is all about celebrations. It's about releasing what no longer serves you and celebrating the wonderful things that have happened. Because when we start a new moon cycle, we set intentions for what we want to happen during that moon cycle, and we can keep putting things out there, but if we keep getting, so they would say, rejected, right? It doesn't mean that we're being rejected so much as that we're being protected from what is not ready for us or what we're not ready for yet. So it is true what they say, that rejection is spirit's protection. So, but the celebration is that, say you put something out into a new moon in that cycle, or a few new moons before, whatever, but then finally in this moon cycle around the full moon, you get this really good, exciting news, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening, oh my gosh, this is exciting, then it's a celebration. Also, right after the full moon, we have the waning gibbous, and the waning gibbous is about transition and forgiveness. It's about, letting go of, really, like, forgiving what didn't happen and transitioning into maybe the new that did happen. So I'm going to leave that there. Okay, so what is our next card? Do we have a next card, Spirit? Do we have a next card? I feel like there's something they're saying. I feel like there's something they want me to say. Hold on. Is there something you want me to say on top of that? Oh, and for some of you, the reason why you chose this is because you're water people. And, like I said, the full moon in Gemini, Gemini is air. We're in Sagittarius fire, but you could be a water sign. And it could be that, like, maybe part of the struggle and why you're not, feeling the cozy right now is because of, maybe there's some people around you that, like for myself, I'm a triple fire, but my moon's in water, right? So it's like, but my sun, my rising, ascending, and my sign are Sagittarius, but my moon is in Scorpio, which is a water sign. And sometimes my emotions can actually, like, the water can put out the fire of, like, my energy and, like, what I want and, like, what I'm going towards. I can be my own worst enemy sometimes. So I'm also calling out to those of you who are water signs, your grounding may be near the sea or water, along a body of water, a river, even taking a bath, because it says on the card, ground and rebalance your energy, bring your awareness into the now rather than allowing it to occupy the past or the future. Again, when I was working with this client recently, this other client, I had this really great breakthrough moment from their session, and I started to see my past and my present and my future. And what I've been getting from so many different light workers right now is that we are all waking up rapidly. And some of us are the ones that are here to lay the groundwork for those who are, every single one of us are going to have an awakening of some kind. Awakening, reckoning, whatever you want to call it, we're all going to have something that is going to change the trajectory of our lives. And it is going to bring, there is so much light on the planet right now that it seems, that's why they created so much darkness in media and wars and all of these things, or why they, will take something really beautiful and they'll something tragic will happen around that beautiful thing, because they want people to be like, see, we can't even have that beautiful thing. And it's like, no, it's not all or nothing. We're going to have the good days and we're going to have the bad days, and it is about the balance. And 49 is, almost halfway there, right? Like you're almost there. You're almost to 50. You're almost there. So just hang in there. Do not let go. Do not let go. Okay. So the next card is 48. Shut up, you guys. Let me just tell you, I've had this deck for a very long time, and I shuffled these quite a bit before I pulled this out. So this is very interesting, because I'm almost feeling like we've got 48, 49, and 50, as if 48 is the past, 49 is the present, and 50 is the future, but we'll see what the other cards bring. So disengage from outcomes. Yes, this has been one for all of us, right? The control, trying to control the outcome. 48 is also the number 12. And if you were drawn to reading one, like I said, and I'll keep repeating myself, it might just be one little morsel that you need in there. Maybe you need the whole reading. I don't know. But we spoke about that, about the number 12, because 48 is also the number 12. So I feel, by the way, I feel like that wanted to go to the deep dark sea. Do you see that? Look at how Spirit set this up. They're so amazing. But we spoke about that, about the mirror, about 12 and 21, and being mirrors for each other, especially for the light workers right now. We have to look at the ugliest part of ourselves. If we don't, how can we ever, ever hold space and hold unconditional love for all of those that are waking up on the planet? We have to forgive people. I know that sounds fucking crazy. I know that if someone like shot your, something you loved or whatever right in front of your face, and like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know that you would want to just do the same. You'd want to kill them, right? Or you'd want to, like, the rage would take over and you would do something. But what if you just instantly were like, I love you. I love you. I'm so sorry that you have such hate inside of you, because whatever they killed is going to go instantly somewhere beautiful. You know what I mean? Because they were put there for a reason. But that's what the darkness wants us to be like, yeah, an eye for an eye. No. That doesn't work. It's about love. It's about teaching. It's about learning about unconditional love. And I know, I am telling you, I have had things happen. I had my dog. I mean, she didn't die right in front of my eyes, but I heard the cars. I heard the screeching. I heard the screaming. And, and the worst part about it was I didn't even know that the person that hit her was a gardener, but I kept screaming, stupid fucking gardener, my stupid fucking gardener, because when I lived in a house years ago that I rented, I had a gardener that came every week. It was part of my rent for my house and the upkeep. And so they forgot to latch the gate, and I'd warned them about that, because I had 2 dogs, and both of my dogs got out, and my dog and the foster dog. We had a foster dog and we had our dog. Which one do you think was killed? You can guess. It was my dog. And I was screaming, those fucking gardeners. I told them to lock the gate, and I was screaming. And the gardener didn't speak very much English, but they understood the gardener part, and they came over to me and they were like in tears. They're like, I'm so sorry. I love animals. Like, I can understand them because I speak Spanish. And I was like, what? And I didn't understand at the time what was happening. They were mortified. 12255. So 2255 is your angel number, and 1 is about a new beginning, right? And so it's like, I'm sure that person was probably traumatized. I could tell, like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, because and it's like, I didn't know them. I couldn't go back and say anything to them. you know, and say, I'm sorry, I wasn't talking about you, you know, but at the same time, I was still so angry. I didn't hold space for them. That must have been pretty traumatizing. You know, they're just going about their day, driving down the road. Two dogs run out in front of him. He slammed on his brakes. He tried. One of the dogs, you know, our foster, who ended up becoming our dog, you know, she ended up becoming our dog. And she taught me, both of those dogs taught me so much. Oh, I'm starting to get emotional. I'm sorry. But you know what I mean? Love is love. And sometimes shit happens. And you need to love anyway. You're going to get hurt. Love hurts sometimes. But don't disengage from love. Don't fill your life with hate. You're a loving light being having a human experience, and you're here to hold space for people. And we're here to teach each other that unconditional love is really all there is. And hate doesn't exist with love. And the darkness had to learn to expand. And now we're here to bring it back into the light so that we can learn and grow from shadow. Shadow is the greatest gift we've ever been given. Death is rebirth. And we're still in the Scorpio moon energy. And it's all about the phoenix and the rebirth. So disengage from any outcomes. In this card, it says, let go so you can open yourself to the highest love that you deserve. Find ways to release worry or any unresolved lack of forgiveness you might be holding on to. So work with the waning gibbous energy, okay? It's about transition and forgiveness. And I don't know where my book is. Hold on. I'm going to grab it. I just want to make sure because I'm pretty sure that it is. One of our tribe members, Anna, I call her the president of the Magical Medium. She gave me this great Moon Phases book. And when I was working with it every day, all the time, okay, so see, I was wrong. It's in the next moon phase of the waning gibbous is reflect and release. And then the third quarter moon is the 7th phase, and it's transition and forgiveness. And that the end cycle waning crescent is the rest and restore, number 8. So right now we're in the celebration and blessings and the release of the full moon. But in the next phase, in the waning gibbous, reflect and release on what you need to transition out of and forgive. Disengage from the outcome. Let go. You know that old Chinese proverb, I believe it's called, I think it's a Chinese proverb, where it says, you're drinking the poison and expecting the other person to die. I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's like, sorry, I'm like, I need to clear my eyes out. Right? You have to let go of things because the only person it's killing is you. The poison is eating you alive. And you don't need that darkness. You're a beautiful ray of light. You're a beautiful ray of sunshine. And this is your past. Disengage from the outcomes. Yeah, I mean, because the past is the past. And you got your angel wings sitting over here in this amethyst healing, waiting for you. You're an angel. You're an earth angel. If you were watching this right now, you're an earth angel. My eyes just went to these little snowflakes, but all I saw were stars. And Spirit's saying that you are the next, like, we're looking at the next 50 years of cozy. It's going to be good and it's going to get even better. It's just we're in this really icky transitional phase. And for some of you, some of us, like, we're going to be here for a long time. We're going to still see a lot of things. And we're going to help heal this 12717, which is angel number 2717, new beginning. We are here to heal this together. Let go of the past. Disengage from the outcomes. Maybe you had your heart set on something and that this was your, okay, if I do this X, Y, and Z, if that happens, then, then I'm going to, get to this. And they're like, yeah, but you have to let go of that. And you have to be connected and get grounded and rebalance your energy and bring your awareness into, what does this say? Bring your awareness into the now, exactly, rather than allowing it to occupy. So, I mean, what did I just say? We've got past, present, and future. So interesting, in the now. And I said, what is that? I go, 49's like, it's like in the middle, right? Being in the now. So you got past, present, and the now and the future. So let's see, Spirit, what card do we have for that one? Because I feel like we're going to have a card for that and then like a culmination card. And these two cards, I feel like they almost want to come together as if they're like glued together. So do you want me to pull a card? You want me to, do you want me to pull that one last? Okay. Okay. So is this the way you want me to go? Okay. Okay. So this is still a message for right now. Number 5. What did I just say? Look at that. Number 5. Come on. Change direction with ease. This is a time for change, shape shifting, or your soul's evolution. It is time to reconsider what you are wanting. You may be in for a surprise. Wow. Okay. So, holy crapoly. Let me just, I'm like, this is, you guys are so powerful, so magical. That is really, really cool. So you're in for a surprise. So once you make these changes, you're going to be in for such a big surprise. You won't even know what hit you. But you've got to make the changes first. So let's hear what the book has to say. And then we'll go to this last, we'll go to that one last. So number 5. It's like the card before the last card, right? It's like it's almost 5 but not quite there. It's almost 50 but not quite there, right? Like cuz it doesn't have the amplifier of the 0. Oh, you guys are so powerful. You witchy, beautiful, whatever. I mean, I don't want to put labels on you, but like you guys are really powerful. I mean, angels are just witches are just angels, like, right? We come from the angel realm. We're peacekeepers. We're here to make sure that the earth and the humans and like everybody's okay. Why do you think they've made us evil and all this for years? There's so much going on with that. Okay, so life can quickly change direction. Remember to remain flexible, as this will enable you to move gracefully through change. This card indicates transformation around a pivotal point in your life, when new options become possible and move into your awareness. Change is not only likely to happen, it is certain to happen and is next to no time. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me say that again. Change is not only likely to happen, it is certain to happen and in next to no time. Your transformation will be personal and may require you to step onto a new and unfamiliar path. You may need to alter your present course and move things in an unfamiliar direction or turn things around to ensure you are creating the right outcomes in your life. This phase calls for perseverance and faith. Be open to and willing to seek out new possibilities. Butterfly fish are a symbol for change, the soul, creativity, freedom, joy, and color. They quickly change their direction and always move gracefully through the water. Butterfly fish are messengers of the moment and come in a wide array of colors and with unique markings. They are comfortable in the shallow as well as deeper parts of the ocean. Butterfly fish reminds you not to take things too seriously and to get up and move. If you are waiting to begin a new process, you might need to put in a bit more effort to find what you are missing, right? Remember that other card said, like, what do you want now? Like, what do you feel like is missing now? Not about like what happened in the past or, you know what I mean? Like, what is happening right now in this moment, in this time? What change do you need to go in? And now for your last culmination card. What? Come on. I by the way, I close my eyes with these cards because I like it too. It's just as much fun for me as it is for you guys. Number 3, in the light of the moon. I remember when I was talking about the number 12 and number 21 and mirroring each other. What is 21 and 12, right? 3. 2 and 1 is 3. 1 and 2 is 3. Very interesting. So it says, oh, a full moon can shine light on what you have been resisting. This can be anything from your fears to your soul's beauty. Now, how much, first of all, look at that. Look at how the card matches the labradorite right there. And can we just think, I don't know if she's still, but we had a tribe member, I hope she's still around, Cameo, and she made this beautiful beads. And I was really drawn to pull that in. And it was actually on this necklace, but I couldn't keep it on there for the light. It's like they wanted to be separate pieces. So I wanted to bring this in because that's Larimar. And it's like, they call it the diamond of the sea, the Larimar. Okay, so you might want to work with Larimar, okay? But I mean, come on. Look at how it's like if you go into the past, then it's like you're going into the shallow, the darkness. See? Like, how like the sea is like really deep and dark, they say, but in certain parts of the sea, it's actually illuminated because there's certain, algae and fish and whatever that like they get illuminated by like the moon or the sun and it lights up the water. It's like there's all these like magical things happening. I mean, 70% of the planet is the ocean and they've barely scraped the surface of it. You know what I mean? So it's so I mean, my husband's seen a mermaid. I've seen things. I know a lot of people have seen things that they can't explain. I had a dolphin help me from drowning once. Like, I mean, there's so much magic happening. It's unbelievable. But I love that this was like the, you know, the disengage from the outcome, like in from the darkness. And now you're jumping into the light of the moon. I mean, come on. It's so beautiful. I don't even know where to begin. It's like, this is you, this is you, this is like the past, and this is like your future. And they're saying, like, you know, in order for you to get here, you need to disengage from the outcomes. You need to just let things go. And can I tell you, I miss both of those dogs every day. But as much as I loved the dog that was killed, it was the dog that stayed that taught me the most lessons. And the first dog that died at that time, she was so powerful that I didn't realize it at the time, but I was that house that people always came over. And at the time I worked, my husband and I were both in music, and we, you know, worked in restaurants, and we were just around a lot of artists and musicians and people like that. So a lot of times after work, I would just invite people back to my house, and everyone loved Molly. They just loved her. She loved everybody. I mean, the dog that we were fostering that became our dog, she hated other dogs, she hated everything, but like Molly healed her. She helped heal her. She helped teach her how to love. She helped teach her how to respect the other animals in the house, because we fostered cats as well. I mean, she was just so great. And we only had her for, I think, like a year and a half. We got her when she was 9 months old, and she was like everything to us. And then like this other dog came into our orbit, and she literally like showed up at our house, and she kept showing up at our house, and we would bring her home. She lived a few blocks away. She kept escaping. They called her Houdini. And then finally we just adopted her. The owners were like, you know, obviously she wants to live with you guys, and they didn't really want her anymore. So we took her. But, you know, but interesting, you know, how that all went down. You know, but Molly was a healer. She was there to help other people. When she passed, we had like a service for her, and I seen the strongest, most tough men cry hysterically over her death. Like they're just like, I don't understand. I mean, she was like a puppy. She was like 2.5 years old, and I was like, I know, dude, I know. Like, I'm sorry, but that's how it was. And I was just like, I'm sorry, you guys. I know, you know. And it was very, very interesting how much she affected and touched all these people's lives. But yet the other dog, you know, she didn't really, I mean, everyone loved her too, but it wasn't the same. But she had a different purpose, and she was really there to teach me and my husband at the time, my first husband. So you never know, like, why these people, these energies, these entities, you know, they come into our lives sometimes for, you know, you'll have a conversation with somebody in line getting a coffee that will change your whole trajectory of your path. It'll change your whole direction. You know, you start talking to somebody about something you love, and they're like, oh, I'd love to see what you do. And you're standing in line, oh, here, I just took a picture of it. They're like, oh my gosh, I love that painting. I'll buy that for you. How much is it? And they're like, I was wanting 500. They're like, absolutely. When can I pick it up? You know, because to one person, 500 is like, am I worth that? To another person, they're like, 500 is nothing. They want you to change the way you're looking at yourself and the world. That you are this beautiful, look at this whale. I mean, they're a dolphin. I think that they are in the dolphin family. So let's read this. Okay, it says, sometimes you choose to ignore your problems or avoid them in the hopes that they will dissipate or disappear after a while. Explore the part of yourself you may have been too anxious to shine a light on. Don't be afraid to call attention to yourself by bravely exposing your most personal truths, right? That's when we go to that stuff, like I know it can be confusing sometimes, right? Because you'll hear one, you know, light worker will say this and another will say that. Well, that's what they're at the time that's applicable, right? But in this instance, this is what they're saying. It's like, if you're going to go to the past, then you go there, you're diving deep to look for something, right? You're not just going there willy-nilly. It's like you're actually going there to be insightful, to like get more grounded in who you are, to find out what is attached to you that was given to you. You know, anything from a nickname to, you know, whatever, you know, something that was told to you from your teachers, your parents, your friends, your family, something you started to believe. The one thing that I just couldn't take anymore and had to break away from my family is that no matter how much I tried to change and evolve, it made them so uncomfortable that they would say things like, oh, you'll revert back, or this is just a phase, or this is blah, 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 because I had done certain things a certain way. I'm like, no, I just finally figured out and remembered who the fuck I am. But I couldn't be around them anymore because they were constantly doubting me. It's like I'd go home and I'd be around my friends and family, and I felt so small and insignificant because that's how they wanted me to feel. And then I'd be around people that I was just being myself, and especially with other light workers or people who were seeking out my counsel. And I'm like the fucking cat's pajamas. You know, it's just, it depends on who you're looking at and who you're talking to. And those people from my past and my family, they don't know me now. They think they know me. But I've always been this way underneath, you know what I mean? There's always that part of us, but I had to change directions. I didn't do it with ease. See how that pyrite is covering up with ease? Because it's not easy to do, to change direction like that. One time my mom said something that was so profound and it really stuck with me, and I'm going to give it to you as well. And she said, you know, you have to think of your brain as like, you know, tracks. She said back in the old days, before there were paved roads, we had mud roads. And if it was really muddy for a long time, all the different, you know, wheels were going through there, the wagons, you know, the horse-drawn carriages, whatever. But once that mud would dry, then it would be hard, right? Like the ground would get hard. So it's a lot easier to go into the flow of where the people were going, where the tracks were going, than to actually go off track and start a new path. Somebody at some point started that path, right? Somebody had to start that path. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like nothing grows in it because, and it was all dirt, nothing could grow there. Then they learned how to put rocks down and pavement and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's time for you to change your way of thinking. That's how you're going to change your direction, is by changing your way of thinking and by staying in the positive energy, by staying, you know, and dance by the light of the moon. So we're in the holiday season. Go and watch It's a Wonderful Life, even if you've seen it 1,000 times. Watch It's a Wonderful Life. You can watch it. You can wait and watch it on Christmas Eve. You can watch it today, tomorrow. You could be watching this in July. Go watch it anyway. It's just a time period, but it's an energy. That is what Spirit wants you to look at. The light. The light. Because no matter how much Mr. Potter tried to lure George to the dark side, he kept going for the light. I don't want to give away the ending because there's some cool stuff that happens there, but you know what I mean? Go towards the light. So, and don't be afraid to call attention to yourself by bravely exposing your most personal truths. You know, this came up recently with a client where, you know, this happens to me a lot when I work with people. When we start working with shadow, they automatically, like, you know, because once we're seen, once we're exposed, it's a very awful feeling to be exposed. But when you expose yourself and you expose your vulnerability, you help others to do the same. So Spirit is challenging you to expose yourself to your vulnerability. In the last 24 hours, Spirit has put in my path so many, I literally don't know, to the point where I was like, okay, I get the point. But there are so many people starting YouTube channels. I've seen them from really young, and I say young for me, like, you know, teenager. I'm in my 50s, to I saw a woman who was well in her 60s or 70s, and I was like blown away just by how people are just wanting to be heard and putting their voice out there. It's very powerful. Put your voice out there. Not everybody wants to do that, but if you're called to put your voice out there and be a voice of change, do it. 2024 is going to be a magical year for us. It's a big election year in the United States. It's about fighting for our rights, fighting for change, real change. But by shedding light on the darkness and saying this planet is plentiful, there is enough food, shelter, water for everybody. We are all here to be taken care of. No one is meant to be a slave, ever, ever. So it says the world can be stressful with competition and deadlines. Everyone needs extra support now and then. Ask God, your angels, guardians, the universe, or other higher power guide, any higher power that guides you. Take a few moments and sit with your request. You may choose to pray or meditate. Asking for blessings and guidance can improve your understanding and put you in a state of clarity and serenity. Okay, orca whales. Yeah, because I think the orcas are they call them whales, but I think they're in the dolphin family. Anyway, orca whales are considered one of the most intelligent mammals on Earth. They usually travel in groups and hunt for prey at night. Orcas represent dreams, intuition, emotions, and healing. This orca leaps high into the air in front of a full moon to bring your attention to issues you can no longer afford to avoid. Use the light of the moon to draw your attention to something you need to be willing to release. Balance your need to be right or strong. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of you guys though, because digging down deep, it's funny because like when this first started, I was like, oh no, like I was so excited, like, oh, this is going to be so fun. And it is fun, but also I'm telling you from my own experience that it's the shadow. It's the shadow. And we have to illuminate the shadow. We have to look at it. We have to look at the ugliest parts of ourselves. I'm going to share a really one more quick story with you. Earlier, I was talking to my husband about something that had happened with me because recently one of my clients, they are struggling through their shadow and facing, themselves and their darkness. And I was like, you know what though, but you're so powerful. Like the fact that you're even like, doing this, like speaks of like how powerful you are. And I was talking about how I remember that when I was in Los Angeles and I moved there to be a star, right? Like I was like, I did everything. I did acting, modeling, singing, whatever I could do. I was like, I wanted to be a triple threat. I mean, I didn't really get into dancing, but I went dancing, but I was doing all of these things to try and make it. And I got so close so many times, like so many times where you're just like, I finally did give up. But it's interesting. I remember saying one time, I think the reason why I didn't make it was because of all the horrible shit that I did. And one of the things that I had done was something I did when I was in junior high to someone that I loved and that was very close to me, someone that had been there for me, and my closest childhood friend since the age of 5 in front of the change. And it took everything out of me to not beg, but literally like seek them out for forgiveness. But the irony was they were seeking me out as well because they knew that they knew at my core who I really was. And what I did at that time was fucked up, yes, and horrible, yes. But it wasn't malicious. I just didn't know any better. And as adult women in our 30s, we can have that conversation around it. And I cried and was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't, claim my culpability in that and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yes, but now is the time I need you the most. And it was so cool how our friendship came together because they were coming out. And they were so, even though someone else in the family had come out as gay, they were very scared. And they're like, I saw what you did with them, and I know that your heart is pure, and I know, blah, blah, blah. And so we just had this great moment. But I'm telling you right now, that hung over my head. I was terrified that that was going to come out. I was terrified that that would come out if I ever became famous. I know it sounds silly, right? But that was very real to me. That was a very real threat to me in my 20s because it was the only like kind of skeleton I had in my closet, so to speak. And then once it came to light and once I squashed it, once I brought attention to it, once I normalized what had happened, all those years ago and whatever, and normalized meaning like that kids do and say things that are hurtful. Kids say the darndest things, right? Kids are the cruelest people in the world. We were taught to seek love through approval. And this friend was like, you and I aren't those people. We're just a result of the people that were around us. And I was like, wow, wise sensei, thank you. So, face that fear. And recently, something else happened to me. And it was like, I sat in fear for like 24 hours. Like I was like sick to my stomach. I only slept like 4 hours during that time. And I was allowing it to control me. And then I started to like pull my power back and I started to understand what was happening. And I was like, holy shit, I see what's happening. And then once I let go of the fear, I was like, you know what? It is what it is. And whatever happens is what's going to happen. And if that changes our direction, then that changes our direction. But I know with every fiber of my being, I was supposed to be there, do that, say that. You know what I mean? Like, and we cannot second guess everything we do. And we cannot there are no take C's, back C's, right? Like when it's done, it's done. All we can do is move forward and heal from it. So There's going to be some years of cozy, but right now, we're going to have some times that are not going to be so easy, but we must still stay in the light. And when the shadow comes for us, when the outcomes that we want are not showing up and we're feeling defeated, Spirit's saying you're not defeated. You're not defeated. You're just in the shadow and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And this is where you're going to end up. Oh, I love you so much. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So release what no longer serves you and celebrate in all the good and all the change that is yet to come. And don't focus on what that is. Just be in what is now. All right, you guys, I love you so much. All of my information is in the description box. It's also in the comment section. If you want to book any one-on-one time with me, or if you'd like to purchase a recorded reading, any of that, you can email me at the email address that's provided, and I will send to you the options that are available at this time. And I look forward to talking with you one-on-one or connecting with you on a more personal level. Until then, take good care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh. welcome reading 3. When I looked down, I saw 58, which is also the number 13. Hey, witchy witches. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. I've been putting this together for a minute, but like, I haven't been feeling it. I mean, the interesting thing is, because the live doesn't let you pause it. So, I mean, you can like kind of watch my creative process. Although sometimes when nothing's moving for a while, it's because I have to do chores or things really quickly. But anyway, welcome. Sorry for that. Oh, I've been in this energy for a minute. So, blessed full moon in Gemini. You chose the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle deck and the Practical Witches Pocket Guide Book of Spells. So let's just dive in because I'm feeling this kind of like off balance, symmetry, not sure, blah, blah, blah. And this kind of makes sense. Here we go. So we are in fear. Interesting. The other ones were in such a light-hearted energy. Well, they had shit going on too, of course. But I'm just saying like, meaning like the sun. But now where I live, like the sun is going down. So interesting that they left you for last, It's number 12. So if you were drawn to reading 1 or reading 2, we spoke of the number 12 predominantly in reading 1 and like its mirror 21. So, if you were drawn to those, there might be some messages in there for you. So I'm feeling like they want me to do this. Like I'm going to pull cards and I feel like we're going to go into the book. Okay, so now we have number 4, dragon. And I don't know what is that other word? Oh, treasure. Treasure. Okay. So I'm just going to put them up as I feel like they're meant to go, and then we'll go from there. So that's interesting. Okay. Oh, this is blessings. Some of these cards have been coming out in some of our other readings too. It's like they're just trying to reiterate like what they've been trying to tell us. I feel like this wants to go over here. Okay. So let's do that. So you can see that. Okay. And this one wants to go, now we're going to the left of fear, and we have resilience. Skyla. Okay. Interesting. We have 2 more. Okay. Oh, they want these at the same time. Okay. Oh my gosh. So I did shorts for these 2 cards. So I feel like, do you want them now? No. Okay. I feel like they're either for the shorts and I over pulled, or they're, I don't want to say. So I'm sorry to be cryptic. I know that's annoying when you watch readings, but I also feel like they want you to like look at it. Like really look at it. And I can give you a little light if you wish to give you a better view of it. It's interesting. My mind, it's almost like they're bleeding into each other. Like what, hear me out. Like over here, it's like she's got scales, water, you know what I mean? Like there's snakes, it's like a water energy. And then over here, we've got a fish, which is very snake-like, like an eel, right? And water. Ice is water, right? But in the middle, we've got fear and treasure. And I feel like, without even looking in the book, I feel like for some of you, what's happening is you're in fear of losing what you have now, instead of releasing what you have now so that you can allow the right thing to come in. So every time I do these readings for you guys, I get my own downloads too. It's so interesting. So on the numbers, we've got 8, 12, 4, and 10. And interestingly enough, they all like have a derivative of each other, right? Like 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 2 is 8. I guess 10. 10's the only one. There's nothing there for 10. Because you can't divide 10 by 8 or 4. Interesting. I feel, you can zoom in. Zoom in and look at these cards. I'm not going to zoom in now, but like while you're watching this, you can go on your screen and zoom in and you can see the cards better. That's why I brought this up, so you can kind of, so there, even if you want to take a screenshot right now. But do you see how the dragon is rising out of the fear? I'm going to read these because I feel like the messages are there for you to hear. But I'm feeling like there's going to be there's just a lot of stuff that's downloading right now. Okay. So the first card if I'm going to read them in order. Okay. So even though the first card was fear, I'm going to start here and I'm going to work my way over. Okay. So the first one, Skyla, life throws adversity at you. There's no escaping this. Yet building resilience allows you to handle this better. Building flexibility is a key to developing resilience. Righteous anger is not shameful. Sometimes you get caught between a rock and a hard place. You need to make a decision between two poor outcomes to get where you need to go. Wow, that's interesting. So the duality and in this deck, the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous deck. I'm going to see if they want me to read anything to you guys. Okay, so because you're predominantly have this deck in your reading, I'm going to read you the introduction so it can give you more insight. So it says, there's a profound beauty in the darkness, the unseen, the mysterious. In a world where we think we know everything, where the current paradigm of the world tells us that everything is brightly exposed with nothing unknown, choosing to still commune with possibility and the admission that there is indeed some mystery remaining in the darkness is vital for our balance and harmony as humans. Our ancient ancestors knew this. Their mythos and stories are not just about love and light. They are often about darkness, fear, monsters, creatures of the unknown, and journeys into and out of the underworld. These are stories with a truth that has echoed down through millennia, warning us about poor behavior, revenge, hubris, disrespect of the gods or the land itself, and simultaneously calling us to embrace our better natures and encouraging our resilience, courage, faith, restoration, loyalty, and kindness. For some time now, especially in some aspects of the wellness and spiritual communities, there is a strange overcompensation where everything has to be all light, totally positive, and irrevocably shiny. There is a pressure to be wide, grinningly happy all the time. And even when we are sick or injured or traumatized, it is implied that somehow we invited this by not being positive enough. This toxic positivity, this reaching for an impossible perfection, and this quiet victim blaming, where exactly has this gotten us? I would suggest that it leads us into more pain and confusion, guilt and suffering. One of the pioneers of analytic psychology, the famous psychoanalyst Carl Jung, once said, everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. Meaning that if we don't face the shadow, if we don't confront the parts of us that aren't so pretty, that we would even term as icky, uncomfortable, that's where expansion and growth happens. And it's part of you. It's okay to feel those things. They're just saying don't dwell in them. We use them as healing and learning tools, as an education, but not as a means to live our lives. That is the part of Earth that we are bringing back into balance, the light. So this says, what Jung is suggesting here is that we are not immediately conscious of the bits of ourselves we may not like or wish to show, yet they still show up and are active in our lives. Hiding them doesn't mean they go away. In fact, they can grow even stronger being ignored. So what can we do? The best thing is to make them more conscious, to seek them out, and maybe even to make friends with them. If we decide to seek or even engage with these unconscious aspects of ourselves, these darker shadows, these ill-formed, half-created, seemingly ugly monsters of our unconscious, perhaps we can refine them, perhaps even reshape them into something exquisitely useful and beautiful. Perhaps we can even grow to love them because they are the wholeness of who we actually are. What if the shadowy fear of rejection we harbor deep in the darkness can be transformed, once we see it, into the formation of a confident, discerning, and independent self? What if the ball of self-hatred that lies within the stagnant dark waters can be undone, unraveled, and made new into a deep and unashamed appreciation of self? What if the anger that lies deep within the current of our mind and body, slipping through almost everything we do, can be met with curiosity and channeled instead of into art, or can be channeled instead into art or even activism? What if the deep, dark, and dangerous demons within us actually become the very things that made us successful and unique and whole? We can heal through shining a torch within the darkness to illuminate it. We can find our real and most empowered selves through journeying down into the deep unknown, choosing to go swimming in the dark, deep waters and walking the path in what may feel like the death-stalked atmosphere of the underworld. Remember, even the Bible speaks about walking through the shadow of death. Not actual death, but the shadow of death, something that feels like death, yet we overcome it. This oracle deck was conceived and created around such ideas, to understand that it is a sacred act to seek, find, play with, and even have conversations with the monsters in our unconscious. That the most pervasive or frightening of these thought forms sometimes is not as it may seem at first glance, and that indeed there is a duality to what it actually stands for. It's also on page 3. I feel like that needed to be said. Each card explores this duality, for it is a mighty aid to our wholeness. Each card features a deep, dark, or dangerous entity, and we explore its story and its message. I have also included a plant and crystal association for those that may wish to do further workings around the theme of the subject. That is Bubba. She wants to come in, so she's saying hello. So hello. Those of you who are new, welcome. Those of you coming back, you know Bubba's saying hello. And to new people, welcome. Bubba says hi. She loves you. Hold on. I got to let her. Oh, she wants me to keep it going. She's so funny. Okay, come on. Come on, buddy. You ready? You want to say hi to anybody? She's just here to hold space. She loves you guys. And I had some water, so drink some water. Okay. Here we go. It is also, let me start over that last sentence. Sorry about that. I have also included a plant and crystal association for those that may wish to do further workings around the theme of the subject. It is also important to add that some of these incredible creatures, deities, and entities have stories whose meanings bear witness to and reflect modern events. Interesting. Okay. Right. So like right now, I mean, look at war and all the things that are happening. It's like, it's a pure representation of the darkness trying to, overtake, it's not about the shadow and learning from the shadow. It's just like pure fucking evil, like pure darkness. That's like, no, me, mine, right? Like that, dragons are beautiful and everything, but they're known to be hoarders, right? And they're treasures, like they have to hold on to it. But see the inner shadow? It's like, there's more light than there's shadow, if that makes any sense, right? Okay, so it is also important to add that some of these incredible creatures, okay, we said that. We can see the mythos of Medusa and Circe, for example, in a new light. We know that many monsters from ancient cultures just happen to be female, and according to the mythos, this is what happens when women, quote unquote, overstep the lower societal place required of their sex. This indeed is a shadow and a darkness in itself that we are currently illuminating and transforming in our society, and wherever possible, I've included this powerful work in this deck. Meaning, like, the divine masculine has been controlling the planet for too long and diminishing the divine feminine. We need the balance. We need both. And that's why we have, when people are like, I hate all men, I'm like, don't say that, because first of all, you're hating a part of yourself, because we all have divine masculine and feminine in our chart. And also that there are some really beautiful divine masculine representatives that are absolutely on our side and for us and working with us. You know what I mean? So don't allow this bullshit that people are feeding, about the true essence of what the divine masculine is. And I'm not gonna say I know everything. I'm just saying that the divine masculine is beautiful, right? The divine feminine is beautiful. But when things are abused, like this planet, the divine masculine energy has been abusing this planet for a long time, and we are here as light workers. If you're watching this right now, we are here to bring the balance back, which is why some of you may be in activism. Some of you, may have, public, you're in the public eye through social media or through your job where you make, important decisions. Also, I cannot stop seeing this light here. I feel like for some of you, like, it, like this is your outcome, to be plentiful, to have the blessings, but right here, the resilience, I feel like for some of you, you're like, but I've lost it. Like I've lost, I don't have resilience anymore. Lula, like I'm tired as fuck and like I'm in the shadows. I can't come out of it right now. It's like, well, because you're not supposed to. See how the light's still shining on you? Your eyes are covered. The snakes are covering you. But look, snakes are all about change and transformation. That's what's on the back of these cards that you couldn't see if you don't know this deck. I've been watching Deborah from the Hedge Witch Tarot from South Africa. I love her. I love her accent. But you hear what I'm saying? So it's like work with the snake spirit animal. It's clearly wanting to talk to you, and the dragon. The fact that the dragon came out in this reading leads me to believe that you probably either align with dragons in other, places, in your studies, in other, realms, dimensions, whatever, or you are a dragon yourself. You've been a dragon in a past life. Also, I can't help but see that. Doesn't it look like a little eyes and a here? Like I'm a little smiley face with a hat on, like with a beanie. Do you see it? I swear. Fear. That's what fear the shadow. The shadow is it wants to work with you. So this says the list of cards is roughly divided into the categories of deep, dark, and dangerous. Although plenty of the subjects are all three. Just for your interest though, I have defined deep as entities of either the deep sea, the deep unconscious, or deep environments. Dark is those subjects whose realm is the dark places or the night itself. And finally, dangerous is for those entities that are indeed often out to get us. They are frightening and often deadly if we do not pay heed. So we have deep, let me make sure. Well, so the culmination one is, hold on, I got to look in the light. Deep. I think they're all deep, you guys. Deep. I can see that one says deep. Deep. Oh, shit. I think they're all deep, you guys. Holy crap, holy. Okay, so all four of these are deep. All four. All four. Also, this is giving me big, strong inner child vibes right here. Do you feel that too? I'm feeling like strong inner child vibes, especially here. I mean, even though it's representative, it feels like a divine feminine. This could still be a little boy. If this was a different time period, they'd be wearing like a long outfit, like a dress or whatever, and they had long hair. So I feel like this is for both of these. It's like, it could be the divine feminine or the divine masculine, because then in this card, we've got a little boy and what appears to be a little girl, quote unquote. And also look up reindeer spirit medicine, because that's really powerful. That's been coming up a lot, especially with, right now in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going towards, the end of, we're in the last month of fall. Winter is around the corner. So I feel like for some of you guys, like you're going deep now, and it's like, I don't know if it's this winter or next winter, but I feel like winter is coming kind of thing, like with the winter is coming, and that's what's here. Or I feel like they're basically, because this whole reading was about what to release and what we're celebrating, and I feel like they're kind of one and the same for you guys. I feel like this is your celebration, it's your blessings, but it's like you need to go through all of these things first and keep up the resilience, because if that wouldn't be there if you couldn't handle it. So don't let fear or your treasures, like, because treasures are like about losing something. Like I'm getting this vibe like you guys are afraid of losing something. I cannot shake that feeling. And it could be a person, place, thing, job, whatever. Security is a hard one. I understand. I had said to spirit recently, I'm like, this is, what I want, but also if this is not right for me, I don't keep pushing against the grain. I want everyone to feel good. I want everyone to feel comfortable, really important to me. So I'm still awaiting that answer, that outcome. But I started to realize that what used to scare me before, when I was in a similar situation, I went through it for like 24 hours and I was kind of really freaked out about it. But then all of a sudden I just like kind of sat with it for a while, and I had this amazing revelation about my life and the people in my life. And I, all of a sudden I just felt better. And I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I know I'm okay. I know that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. So the fact that you pulled all deep cards, it says right on here, I have defined deep as entities of either the deep sea, the deep unconscious, or deep environments. So interesting that we've got entities, we've got the snake, and we've got the reindeer and the dragon. We also have an image of death here, right? And what is death? Death is about rebirth. It's about starting something brand new. I don't even know if they want me to read these individuals. Like, I kind of feel I'm going to sit with it in a minute, but I really feel like they're trying to show you. Also, see how I said how these two were kind of like bookending? That's how it feels. I feel like this is your inner child fears, or this is like what you were taught to fear. And I feel like they're like, no, but you're not seeing the blessings because you got your eyes closed. Look over here. They're like, look over here, look over here. We caught fish. It's okay. She's like, we're starving. We're gonna starve to death. They're like, first of all, you have snakes on your head, and if you had to, you can eat one. Because I'm like, oh no, I'm a vegan. All right, but there's something here too. Look, do you see how there's like something in the background? Do you see that? There's a storm a brewing, and maybe it's because you're looking too much on the storms on the outside, right? This feels like a divine feminine, and this feels like a divine masculine, which is interesting because I don't feel like this is one or the other, like in terms of like imagery, like breasts or no breasts, or you know what I mean? Like they're covered, so you wouldn't be able to tell anyway, really. But this feels very feminine and this feels masculine to me. So it could even be that, like, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see what's in front of you. I feel like this one, because we're reading it already, I'm going to continue. But yeah, we'll see if the other ones. That's really powerful, though. I mean, all the way around, that's some pretty intense stuff. So we already read that it says, Skyla, life throws adversity at you. There is no escaping this. Yet building resilience allows you to handle this better. Building flexibility is a key to developing resilience. Righteous anger is not shameful. So it's interesting. Righteous anger, meaning like you're allowed to be upset, you're allowed to get angry, you're allowed to be disappointed, but also be mindful of where you're putting that wrath, because that's a very real place. Wrath is a very, very real place. And see how the way the cards are, how resilience is covering half the face of the little girl and the fear. But do you see how that little girl is looking steadfast, straight on? She ain't scared of shit. You can zoom in on YouTube. You can zoom in on your screen. You can look closer at these cards. But if you really look at her face, isn't it funny? This adult, we have this imagery and the first card of resilience that looks like an adult, but yet is the child who is looking straight into the face of fear, into the face of danger, because kids aren't afraid. They're like, okay, what's the next thing? Unless somebody puts that fear into them, unless they're like, no, you need to have all the treasures. You need to be the best, the strongest, you need to breathe fire, I feel like for some of you, the dragon is really deep for you. Like it is about going deeper into the dragon. Like there's something very visceral there. Okay, so it's okay to be angry, right? But they're saying sometimes you can get caught between a rock and a hard place. You need to make a decision between two poor outcomes to get where you need to go. Yeah, I mean, right? It's like, I remember when I would just vote because I'm like, they're like, who'd you vote for? And I'd be like, X, Y, and Z, and they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, well, I mean, it was the lesser of two evils in my mind that I felt like, whatever, until I just finally stopped voting because I'm like, I'm not going to vote for somebody just because it's the lesser of two evils, and I feel like that's what they're saying. It's like, you don't have to, maybe you're in a situation where you're trying to move to one place towards your blessing, but you're like, I can't look anymore. Like I can't do anymore. I can't go anymore. I can't, and they're like, that's because you're letting fear and things and people and places, right? They said it could be entities. It could be, right? It could be your consciousness. It's like you're stuck in your own head and you got snakes. And then I feel like you're like the snakes are like, get away from me. So you're like keeping people away, but you're also keeping the light away. And Spirit's like, no, 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 no. You gotta learn how to have the duality, right? Because the duality is resilience. The duality of resilience is rigidity, because resilience means that you can handle anything, right? Like you're resilient, like you're just going to keep getting back up. You're going to keep getting back up. And so they're like, you got to keep getting back up. You've done this before. Get back up, get the fuck up and do it. I'm here as your biggest cheerleader saying, I'm there with you. I am there with you. Get back up. You can do this. And then the next one was righteous anger versus anger. So righteous anger, meaning like like you were wronged, or you were somebody, like, did something blatantly horrible to you. And it's okay to get angry, right? Because if you didn't, then you'd have no self-preservation. And if you had no self-preservation and some ego, you wouldn't be able to survive here on earth, right? So you need to have some, anger. That's normal. But just anger to be angry, that's something that's buried deep inside, that was either given to you or grown inside of you, that I know myself as a triple Sag. Like, I'm super easygoing. I love everybody. I'm like, everything's great. But man, if you push me too far, like, you will see my dragon. You will see me spew fire. And I would be like, bitch, get out my way. You best get out my way. Like, seriously, like, but I have been working on that for years, but it still comes up sometimes. And my husband recently applauded me and was like, I am so proud of you. Like, you are, like, well, this is me paraphrasing, me piping my own horn, but like, he doesn't speak like that, but that's how he was saying, was like, wow, like, I'm like, yeah, I remember, I'm like, that would turn into a fight, or that would blah, blah, blah. And we've been recognizing each other's accolades and appreciating each other's hard work. And that is where the resilience comes from, is understanding that we're fucking human and that we have natural fears, that we have to have some fear instilled in us to keep us out of harm's way. It's like we were given basic emotions, basic things, basic warning signs, intuition, whatever you want to call it. We were given these basic things to keep us, to help us survive in this game. You know what I mean? Right. But at the same time, it's like it comes to a point where your resilience is just broken, right? And you're upset and whatever. So they're saying that's natural. So it says, most people who know of Scylla were introduced to her through Homer's epic, The Odyssey. Odysseus wants to return home with his men and is told that he will have to pass through the straits of Messina, close to two monsters, to do so. Scylla guards one side of the rough and narrow waters opposite Charybdis, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, another monster in the shape of an inescapable whirlpool. Interesting. It is said that the two monsters were in arrow's range of each other, so that if one didn't get you, the other one certainly would. Holy shit. So who was Scylla, and was she always a monster? There are a number of origin stories of her, but again, most relate to a woman being jealous of another and harming her enough that she becomes monstrous, a repeating motif in the ancient Greek world. Before she was turned into a monster, she was the beautiful sea nymph, daughter of Phorcys and Ceto, deities of the sea. They were also the parents of Gorgons. In one myth, it is said that Scylla was transformed by Poseidon's wife, Amphitrite, by replacing a poisonous potion into the pool in which Scylla bathed. Poseidon had his eye on the beautiful Scylla, and I'm sorry, I'm just butchering these names. Amphitrite became jealous. The second myth featured the handsome Glaucus, a sea god who fell in love with her, but who she rejected. He asked the sorceress Circe, who he was friends with, for a love potion to assist him. Circe, however, was in love with Glaucus herself. Instead of the love potion, she created a drink that turned Scylla into a monster. Okay, so do you see the metaphor there? So Scylla then became a frightening creature with no man who would ever find pleasing. She developed 6 heads on long snake-like necks, and each of these heads held a mouth with razor-sharp shark-like teeth. Her legs were girdled by savage dogs, and she no longer had a human voice, but made the bang sounds of hounds. She had a half crab shell that stuck out of the black cave and tumbled rocks she was perched upon. I mean, seriously. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much, Lori. One of our tribe members donated this deck. I have learned so much. Like, I remember this stuff in Greek mythology, but I'm 51. I learned this stuff like 30, years ago. So, or more, I don't know, more, more than that, 30 plus years ago. So yeah, I mean, but it is true. But do you see what I'm saying about the divine feminine and the divine masculine? It's very interesting. But I love at the end of the card that it's getting back into balance. So that's what it is. It's just about you taking your power back, allowing somebody to turn you into this, like, monster. And it could be just yourself and self-talk and things like that, right? So it says, Odysseus asked the advice of Circe about the best way to pass the monsters and survive. Circe advised that both monsters were terrible and that loss of life would happen, but it was better to get closer to Scylla and lose a few men than to lose everyone and the ship to the whirlpool of Charybdis, Homer writes of Scala and Cirque's voice. No crew can boast that they also, can I just say that this deck was written in another language and turned in, translated to English. So sometimes the things that they say, I don't understand. Like, I'm trying to make sense for you guys. So let me try again. No crew can boast that they ever sailed their ship past Scylla unscathed. Scylla was not born for death. She is a thing of terror, intractable, ferocious, and impossible to fight. Odysseus was literally caught between a rock and a hard place, yet decided that battling her would be preferable. He and his crew sailed to the strait where, I just have to tell you that right now, I live on a strait. So that's like really blowing my mind a little bit here. So he and his crew sailed to the strait where Scylla and Charybdis were and knew that death was near. They sailed closer to Scylla, who rose up in rage and slaughtered 6 sailors. One man was taken by each of her heads, and she remained resilient and undefeatable. In a much later story recorded in Eustathius' commentary on Homer, it was said that the hero Hercules encountered her during a journey to Sicily and managed to slay her. Her father, the sea god Phorcys, immediately applied healing flaming torches to her body, and she returned to life. Again, Scala rises, righteously ferocious, to thwart yet another pesky hero. That's awesome. So that's interesting. Wow. So that's pretty strong. So the plant companion is the sea onion, and the crystal companion is the serpentine. Go figure. Wow, that's so crazy. So I am going to ask Spirit, do we want to read any more from the book on any of these cards tonight? Okay. Do we want to pull any more of these cards here? Do we want to use any more of these cards for this reading here? Okay. Are these meant to be put away now? Okay. Wow. Okay. So I am not right now in this second being pulled to read any deeper into them. I feel like this is so much. I feel like they've given you guys so much, especially because I didn't know we were going to read that from the book. And I have read it when I first got the deck, but like, it was so intense. And I really feel like we all received so many messages, and I feel like each individual card is going to give you like what you need kind of thing, if that makes any sense. But at the culmination, I'll see if they want me to read the blessings. So our last card is from the Everyday Spells. This is from the Practical Witches pocket book of spells. So it has a bee on here. So also work with the bee spirit medicine. And let me get my little trusty dusty easel that Anna, one of our tribe members, created and painted for us. Okay, so let's see if I can get in here. I want you guys to be able to take a screenshot. You might not be able to because of the lighting. Can you guys get a screenshot of that? Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so good vibration chakra magic. Burning candles of specific colors is a simple and direct form of magic. The color spectrum is composed of 7 colors, all visible in the rainbow, and correlated with 7 basic vibrations. To combat feeling sad, wear yellow to raise your energy level. You can experiment with different color combinations. And so you can see here, I'm going to back it up just a little bit so you can get to you can fully see it. Okay. So the first chakra is the root chakra is red, security and survival. The second chakra is sacral, orange, pleasure. Third chakra, solar plexus, yellow, divine. Fourth chakra, heart, green, abundance. Fifth chakra, throat, blue, creativity. I have to pick it up, you guys, because I can't read it there's a line on my phone. Excuse me. So fifth chakra, throat, blue, creativity. Sixth chakra, third eye, indigo, perception. Seventh chakra, crown, violet, bliss. Okay, that's a really good screenshot right there. And you can research these more and look at these more, Because I feel like this came across in all of the readings. The message from Spirit at the beginning, if you didn't watch that, you might want to go back and watch that, the downloads that were for the collective. But then the message for each reading, there was the completely overlying in the middle, up and down, vertical, horizontal, you know what I mean? Reading that, or message from Spirit that we do our best to stay in a high vibration. Please go and work with these energies inside. Your inner child is screaming for you to, work with them. And it could even be that you have been working with your inner child and you feel good right now, but maybe your clients, like the people that you're working with. I know that I recently spoke with another light worker. We never share names or information, just like with you guys. I don't like share a lot of names and information, but I'll share, that because we're going through similar things. And she had spoke about like during eclipse season and that full moon and the last, full moon. And during eclipse season, full moon in Taurus, she was just like, man, it was like a shit show. And she's a spiritual guidance counselor. She does a lot of different things. But anyway, she just said, like, I think it was like five clients in the whole day. Like every single one of them were like crying and it was just really intense. And she's like, it just goes to show like how much we're all really connected and how the energy, the outside energy really affects us. So I feel like this is the same for you. Give that inner child more look, let her see, let her show you no fear. I feel like adults are way more scared than children in so many different ways. And they are calling me to read number 10, blessing, because the numbers we spoke about how, 4, 8, and 12 are interchangeable. But how 10, I was like, it was kind of on an outcast there. Well, here on the blessing, but it's also 10 is about completion. So the other cards that I wanted to bring in, one was service, number 22, the more malikia. And then the other one was, I don't know if that's going to, actually, I don't know if it's going to come up, but service. I'm hearing for some of you, you're like, what should I do? What should I do with your hands and your face? I don't know what to do. They're like service, service, service. Wake up every day, meditate and say to Spirit, how may I serve today? How can I help? How may I serve today? How can I help? And once you do that and you take away the control and allow your higher self to do what feels right each day, you'll know what to do. Now, obviously, I know you have to like book clients and you have to do things like that, but also, there's room for growth and expansion in all areas. And they just want me to leave it at that. So sometimes they'll tell you how to pronounce the name and sometimes they don't, which I don't understand why, but anyway, so this number 10 blessings is, let's see if I can try and find it. Okay, so it's a gunakadate blessing. Look deeper. Oh my gosh, come on. You got all 4 cards that are deep and then it says look deeper. Something that may seem like a curse is actually a blessing. Truth finds a way to be told. You are loved and protected. Oh my gosh, yes. And what do we say? No shame. Show everybody who you are. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to show your dragon, we've got loving dragons. We've got, the dragons, and in my experience, the dragons have no ego. Like they just say things as they see them. They, they love, unconditionally. It's just kind of like, they just say it like it is kind of thing. So if we can all embrace that energy and look at the world with different eyes, we may get a different result. So remember that you are loved and protected. So the duality of this card is reality versus fantasy. And I spoke about this in one of the other readings. So if you're drawn to reading 1 or 2, I highly suggest you go and look at them. But one of the things we spoke about was quote unquote reality. Recently, another light worker said that to me. They're like, because I said, well, that's not really reality. And they're like, it is reality. I said, that's not really reality. And they said, what is reality? Like I'm not a huge fan of that word because reality is what you make it. And I said, you're right. Thank you for correcting me, and I needed to hear that. I don't know if I said that in this reading. So if I repeated myself, I apologize. But when I do 2 hours and 45 minutes straight, I don't remember exactly what I said where, but do you hear what they're saying? Like, so it's your reality and versus your fantasy. So if this is your reality, and you're in fear, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, then the fantasy is the blessing, right? I mean, and you can look at this card in all different ways. She caught a fish. He has a reindeer. Maybe the reindeer will carry them to where they need to go. Maybe the fish is sacrificing its life for food. Maybe it's both. You know what I mean? Maybe they're coming together, the divine feminine and masculine, to bring, to bring the balance back in. 10 is about completion. So it says, it's also the other duality is truth versus fiction. And truth is what it means to you, and fiction is what other, like maybe the truth you have about yourself, and then the fiction is the perception of what people have of you. That's just an example. So it says the Tingit people have a deep, beautiful myth concerning a creature called the Gunakadate. A young man belongs to a village that is poor, and fishing is not good. There is little to eat. He lives with his wife and mother-in-law, the latter who thinks him lazy. One night he is walking along the beach looking for food, and in the quick coming darkness he sees a sea monster close to the shore. The monster steps upon the shore, and the young man captures and kills it. He skins the creature, thinking that the meat may be useful, but has the urge to try on the monster's skin. The skin melds with his skin, and he delves deep into the ocean as the monster called the Gunakadate. He finds swimming as the monster. He is found swimming as the monster through the sea. He finds swimming as the monster through the sea invigorating, and he sees and learns about another world. Also, you guys, it's on page 37, which is also 10. Just before dawn, he returns, removes the skin, and goes back to the village. He is amazed at what has happened. That night, he has an idea that he will become the Gunakadate again and look for fish. He puts the skin on, becomes the monster, and easily catches a huge salmon. He returns to his human self, hides the skin, and brings the fish back to the village, and they are all happy. And so each night he becomes this creature and brings more food home before dawn. Sometimes a seal, sometimes even a small whale. He tells his wife eventually of his secret, just in case something happens to him, so she knows where he goes at night. Some stories say the other sea creatures, such as whales, realized his deception and killed him for it. Others say he simply drowned. But one morning, the Gunakadate is found dead on the shore. By this stage, the village is prosperous again, and all are fed, and none think him lazy. And so the young man's spirit returns to the ocean, which he truly loved. His wife would sometimes see his spirit as the creature, and when she does, great prosperity comes to the village. It is said that if you see the monster, you too will be blessed with great fortune. So the fact that it came into your reading says that you are going to be blessed with good fortune. Your outcome, when you release all this other shit, your blessing and your celebration for this full moon and Gemini energy is this blessing. So the plant companion is the salmonberry, and the crystal companion is the labradorite. And I took the labradorite out of the last reading because it was so sparkly. And it's funny that it came back in here and it wanted to go right in front of this card. I can't make this shit up. I mean, I could, but it's just so much more fun because it's all magic. Look at the other side of this. It's all magic, you guys. And fact versus fiction, what does that mean? You know, I mean, some of the people, look at that. That looks like a mermaid, and that looks like the sea, you know, when the light like goes into the sea. This looks like a mermaid to me. And that looks like a heart on the bottom. Do you see this? Do you see that right there? The top of it, it kind of looks like a heart. So, you know, this is spirit telling us that once you go deep, you will find that blessing, but you have to go deep first. And also they said, do not forget about the color stuff. That really does make a difference. You know, what's interesting is, I remember when I was growing up and I wore a lot of black, and my mom's like, it's so depressing. Why do you want to, you know, look like that? And it's funny, when I learned about black is actually a color of protection. So is red. So I was like, isn't that funny? I was doused in black and red all the time. I had red lipstick on almost all the time. Just very, 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 very interesting. So color therapy, color magic is really powerful. Whether you're using it with your chakras or candle color magic. Sorry. I was like going like this, and I was like that or that. And I just like cracked my knuckles. Anyway, I'm getting a little slap happy. Let me see. Is there anything else, Spirit? Do we want to read from the other cards before we head out of this reading today? Are there any other messages that you have for this reading 3 right now for the deep, dark, and dangerous crowd? Okay. Is that it for today? Okay. They're like, is that it? They're like, isn't that enough? I feel like some of you are like, wait. I mean, because sometimes they're so intense, right? They're really, really long. So thank you for hanging in here. Thank you for being a part of this. I love you so much. Just know that you're not alone. You are not alone. And it's funny, I haven't brought up Lula's Life, but if you are not aware of my other channel, Lula's Life, it's a little more lighthearted, and there's so much more, there's a lot going on there. That's why I call it Lula's Life, because there's so many fun things going on. Some people come and go, but I've got spirit work there. I've got fun shorts there. I've got music and dance and spirit animals. And so there's a link on this channel to that if you want to go over there and like and subscribe and comment, all that good stuff. And the same here. Please continue to do that here. We are building in our tribe. We are getting stronger every day. And for those of you who would like to work with me one-on-one, please feel free to reach out. We can book a one-on-one session together over the phone, or we can, or a recorded reading. I do recorded readings as well, and some people really like those. It's like an inexpensive. It's like half the price of my reading, but it's just like me like on a video for you, and you can rewatch it over and over, which is really nice too. But also, I'm going to be raising my rates. I didn't say it on the other one, but I'm getting the vibe from Spirit to raise my rates in January. So if you would like to book a reading with me, even if it's for next year, if you reach out to me before the end of this year, I will keep you in the rates that I am at now. Okay, and you can email me. I have my email address in the description box and in the comments, and also all of my other information is there if you would like to contribute to this channel and the work that I do. Until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. Happy holidays for those of you who celebrate the holiday season, and I will see you at the next reading. Bye. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Love you.